The challenge of moving information across time is older than any digital network. Thousands of years ago, Indian civilizations began developing their own complex systems to ensure their records survived across millennia. The earliest attempt at this record-keeping belongs to the Indus Valley Civilization. We call it the Harappan script, dating back to roughly 2600 BCE. These seals contain between 400 and 600 distinct symbols. Based on the spacing and alignment of the characters, researchers have determined that the script was written from right to left. However, these symbols remain silent. Without long-form inscriptions or a text written in both Harappan and a known language, we cannot map these characters to spoken words. Our earliest history remains locked behind a code we cannot read. Recorded history finally becomes accessible with the Brahmi script. This system serves as the foundational architecture for nearly all modern Indian writing, including Devanagari, Tamil, and Gujarati. We find the first clear evidence of Brahmi in the 3rd century BCE inscriptions of Emperor Ashoka. These carvings show a highly structured, phonetic script that is read from left to right. This script provided the medium for India's 4 primary language families: Dravidian, Sino-Tibetan, Austric, and the widespread Aryan linguistic family. By combining the clear formatting of the Brahmi script with the vast vocabulary of these 4 language families, India established a standardized system for its entire intellectual heritage. Before these languages were written down, knowledge survived through strict memorization. The 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda, were known as Shruti, meaning to hear. They were passed down verbally for generations before ever touching a manuscript. The Rig Veda is the oldest of these texts. Once committed to Sanskrit writing, it retained a rigid structure, using specific accent marks to ensure the original rhythm and pronunciation of the hymns were never altered. The Upanishads later expanded this framework. They shifted the focus from ritual chants to philosophical inquiries into the nature of the soul, universal reality, and the mechanics of karma and rebirth. These abstract ideas were then woven into massive narratives. The Ramayana explores the concept of dharma through the life of Rama, setting specific standards for loyalty, duty, and ideal kingship. The Mahabharata provides a darker contrast, containing 100,000 verses on the consequences of human failure. It details the specific dangers of political greed, the ruinous nature of bad company, and the risk of taking action with only partial knowledge. By demonstrating the specific fallout of these ethical choices, these texts provided a stable behavioral framework. They acted as a societal guide that helped maintain cultural continuity even as different empires rose and fell. While Sanskrit was the language of the elite, Buddhist and Jain scholars began using regional languages like Pali and Prakrit. This change ensured that teachings on nonviolence and spiritual liberation were accessible to the general population. Scholarship expanded into the mechanics of power. Kautilya's Arthashastra became the definitive manual for ancient economics, taxation, and diplomacy. The text is organized into 15 books. The first 5 volumes blueprint internal administration, while books 6 through 13 focus on managing foreign policy. With the Arthashastra, Indian scholarship provided the granular, tactical documentation required to govern a territory as vast as the Mauryan Empire. In the south, the Tamil Sangam academies were established specifically to promote and standardize literature. These scholars recorded observations on society, war, and nature on palm leaf manuscripts, creating a distinct Dravidian literary tradition. During the medieval period, the arrival of the Turks and Mughals established Persian as the language of the royal courts. It became the primary medium for administration and official court records. The interaction between Persian, Arabic, and local dialects eventually led to the development of Urdu. By the 18th century, it had become a popular language for poets, who used it to develop rhythmic verse forms known as nazms. Simultaneously, the Bhakti movement was driving the growth of Hindi literature. Poets like Kabir and Tulsidas chose to write in local dialects like Awadhi, using simple couplets to connect their spiritual messages directly with the masses. As these regional languages flourished, literature transitioned from the exclusive domain of royal courts to the public sphere. Philosophy and poetry were now being recited and understood in common households across the subcontinent. From the first symbols carved into Harappan seals to the Bhakti movement, you are looking at 4,000 years of continuous information transfer. For your exams, keep the numbers in mind: 2 primary scripts, 4 language families, 4 Vedas, and 2 major epics. Master these basics and you've covered the